Hey guys, it's Brendan the Paleo Dude, and welcome back to another Jurassic World video. Today we will be comparing the Hammond collection lineup with the Mattel Jurassic World mainline, and seeing which figures are better, which are worse, and which ones improve where the others lacked. And we'll start off with the best example of that, these guys here. So the Hammond collection male Velociraptor has these really big feet, and as you can see on the neck, the quills are just molded as one big flap, and big blotchy paint is slathered on. The teeth as well are just some little notches in a big, almost like toothbrush row. Now, if you look at the Legacy collection, male Velociraptor, you can see the teeth have more definition, and the quills are separate. So each one of those quills also has their own little paint job, and the colors on the face are way darker. We've got like a really nice purple. So in comparison, the mainline male Velociraptor is actually a lot better than the Hammond collection one, which is very interesting, but that is because this guy was released first, and then the Legacy collection was released a little bit after. So let's see if the feet are different. Yep. So it looks like you can see the mainline one has shorter toes than the Hammond collection. Now the Hammond collection does have painted nails, which is a lot nicer, but the mainline is actually a darker coloration and has a lot more definition to that stripe down the back. You can see it's super jaggy in comparison, and they do actually have the red on the back and the paint on the thigh, just like these guys, but the Hammond collection one has just a little bit less. So I'm gonna say the mainline wins on this one. So the Baryonyx has some really interesting differences from its mainline counterpart. The Hammond collection one has that silvery blue as little speckles underneath the eye, where the mainline one has really big splotch right behind the eye, as well as across the nose. Now, interestingly enough, the teeth on the mainline one are a lot better than the Hammond collection one. You can see they're a bit off-white, but they're more defined, they're less round, which is pretty interesting. But there's less alligator, crocodile-like armor on the neck than there is the Hammond collection one. And the Hammond collection one has a really nice coloration and detailing on that down the back, where the mainline one kind of lacks in that area. So the Hammond collection one does have some better qualities, and of course we can't judge the mainline on posability and articulation, because Hammond collection would beat them out every time. Another big example of Hammond collection starting off kind of rough and getting better is the Velociraptor from the first movie. You can see it has the worst teeth and these really massive feet, whereas the mainline one has somewhat better definition of teeth, but the colors are a little interesting. They're a lot brighter. The feet are actually smaller on the mainline one, and the colors are about the same in terms of like their use. It does have the stripes on the tail and that lighter underbelly. So it's kind of hard to choose which one's better. I do like the shiny silver eye on the mainline Velociraptor. The Therizinosaurus is also quite an interesting comparison, because as you can see, the head on the mainline one is a lot bulkier. They do have a lot of different details on it. It has like these chin feathers, and I don't know, it's got a lot of personality to it, but of course the Hammond collection one is more accurate in terms of the sculpt. Now the paint is a lot different. It's got yellow and blue detailings on the face, whereas this one's got that kind of green and then some red under the eye. Neither of them have the white eye featured in the movie, which is very weird. I would have appreciated that detail, seeing as they gave the Troodon in the Hammond collection, a white eye. They both have teeth, pretty jagged. Of course, this guy's a herbivore anyways, so those are for stripping plants. The feathers on the back are really nice. Both of them have big coating of feathers. The claws are slightly different colors. You can see the Hammond collection one's black, then the mainline's white, and the tail has big plumage down the back, and the feet are green, of course, whereas the Hammond collection one has this kind of gray color for the feet, and the tail does not have plumage. It's all very sleek and not fanning out as much. So that is a interesting design choice for the toy from the mainline versus the Hammond collection figure. So Stegosaurus is next. This guy's really great. You can see it's based off of the Lost World Stegosaurus, which we have not gotten this sculpt in the mainline yet, but we do have the Jurassic World Stegosaurus sculpt, and the tail kind of hangs down. It's very droopy, where the Hammond collection you can stand it up, which is very nice. Also, there's this like backwards plate that's always bugged me on every single mold, but I think this one might have a little nod to that. The head sculpts are different. Of course, this one's got bigger cheeks and a smaller eye, but the plates also are kind of similar in terms of their shape, so there's not a lot of differences there. But overall, the sloping body is very egg shape. This one has more definition to it, and the colors are, of course, a little similar. This one is the Camp Cretaceous one, but it is the best Stegosaurus color, in my opinion. All the molds are the same, so I chose that one. The Pachycephalosaurus also have a lot of differences going on. So the mainline one has some darker kind of blue on the back, whereas this one has green, and it's a little bit bigger. The head sculpts are a little different, but of course the detailing on it in terms of paint are a lot better on the Hammond collection one. The baby Stegosaurus, I actually like the mainline one more. The head is really nice on the mainline figure. It's a little bit bigger, but of course you don't see that jaw articulation. And the eye is all black. The head shape is nice. This one just looks bald for some reason. And the plates on this one are more defined. Something about the proportions just feel right. Whereas this one, they made the tail a lot smaller, the head a lot smaller. Everything's a little less pleasing, but I feel like this is more accurate to the screen design in terms of body plan. And of course the colors are a lot different. Same goes with the Baby Rex. They're kind of wonky on the main line. They made the head larger and the legs and feet larger, but the Hammond collection one is a lot nicer. You've got like this pink around the eye and some really nice paint job of stripes down the back. It's less colorful and definitely a lot closer to the movie counterpart, especially in terms of head shape. This one's got these big crests above the eyes. Parasaurolophus, there's not much to compare. This guy's got two brown lines down the back and some red on the top of the head. This one has full color around the eyes and a very accurate paint job to the movie. They do both have those stripes on the legs and a light underbelly, but this one is definitely a lot more finished in terms of the coloration. The Velociraptors from The Lost World, though, are very interesting because I feel like the mainline one is very nice in terms of its striping and pattern going down the tail. Doesn't have them on the leg, though, or the arms like the Hammond collection does, but I do like that the colors are less bold, like very bold orange on the Hammond collection, where this is kind of more of a more natural bright orange. The Hammond collection Dilophosaurus is probably the best Dilophosaurus we've got in terms of accuracy, especially with the frill. They've got a lot of paintwork around the inside of the frill, and on the crest you've got that dark blue kind of purple up the crest where the mainline one doesn't, and of course the back patterns are more complete going down the tail, and of course the toes and the fingers are painted. The bottom jaw is a different color, whereas this one is the same. So Hammond Collection definitely beats out the mainline for Dilophosaurus. The Gallimimus, I feel like the Gallimimus being this orange color is less appealing than this like light brown. The mainline Gallimimus is a lot nicer in terms of it not being super saturated, but it does lack in that underbelly, and the head though is a lot smaller, which is more accurate, and they did manage to make that eye really nice, less freaky, bulgy, but of course they made the head articulated with teeth. This one does have paint on the tail though, so I do like the proportions more than these larger proportions that the Hammond Collection one was given. The Carnotaurus from the mainline actually has a really nice paint job to it. I don't know, it's hard to say in terms of like comparing them. They both have kind of unique paint jobs. This one's got like a lighter white underbelly, but the paint on the head's really nice. The sculpt, of course, is better on the head, but the mainline one also has some really nice coloration. The head sculpt's a little different, and of course the teeth are painted on in all one piece, whereas this guy has them separate. So that is a lot better on the Hammond Collection, and I don't think the tail is painted on that one. Hammond Collection Ceratosaurus is really nice. The paint job is fantastic, and of course the head sculpt is completely different than the mainline one, but they both have similar coloration to them, and this one's teeth actually are a lot more separate. The Allosaurus from the mainline is really nice. It has some darker colorations, but the tail is kind of short and the head is kind of big. They shrunk the head on the Hammond Collection one and gave it some really nice detailing and made the tail extra long. So in comparison with that super short tail, the Hammond Collection Allosaurus is way better. Now it's weird that the mainline either makes the Stygima look like this bright orange or other colors, but I did find this mainline one with kind of close colors. It's got some brown and purple on the back. They both have some really nice paint art applications to them, but of course the Hammond one's got that nice fancy eye. They both have painted beaks, but this one has paint on its tail and the back leg, whereas the mainline one here does not. So Hammond Collection one, definitely a lot better. And of course for Pyroraptor, the Hammond Collection beats it out on paint. This one is pretty sad in terms of paint, but the teeth are very nice on this one. They're all cut out specifically. The Hammond Collection Troodon is interesting. It's got the white eye, thank goodness, but they both don't have interlocking teeth like in the Telltale game. Fortunately, the mainline figure has this kind of red underbelly, but unfortunately it's pink. And there's no red on the Hammond Collection one, though they did slap some orange on the back, which is not really accurate, but whatever. I do like that the mainline one is gray with black, and there's no orange kind of clouding that black. This one's just got a bunch of dark dots around it. So I kind of like the mainline one a little bit better than this Hammond Collection one. Also because the body proportions are a lot closer to the video game. I can't really compare the Irritator because they're both not from the movie canon, but you can see this one's got kind of sails on its back and tail, and its head has all these interlocking teeth, whereas this one's a lot more refined and paleo-accurate, less stylized. Metriacanthosaurus obviously has a lot better paint job compared to its mainline counterparts, but the head shape's pretty much similar, except for the mainline does not have a more defined crest, which I do appreciate that they did on the Hammond Collection. And the Concavinator is very slim and skinny in the mainline, or in Hammond Collection, whereas the mainline one is super chonky and of course lacking a lot of the paint details. Very large The Triceratops is basically an upscaled version of the Hammond collection one, but instead with an articulated jaw and no articulated legs. So Mainline beats it out 100%. Hammond collection Spino, oh my god, is a beautiful work of art. Very proportionate, of course. The sail, though, is lacking the blue coloration. I mean, the Mainline one also is, but it does have that stripe, and they've got very similar colorations, but the tail is very short, and the head's pretty big, whereas this guy's very proportionally accurate, and obviously it has paint on the legs and the claws, whereas this guy does not. Ooh. Mainline Giga, kind of sad. It does have some nice paint, but it ends at the tail, and doesn't have the same articulation as the Hammond collection. Hammond collection has a really long tail and some really great posability. Definitely a lot better sculpt, better detailing. The Hammond collection Rex is obviously better than the Mainline. It has articulation at the waist and a lot of paint details, but it still does not have the separate molded teeth. Just like the Mainline one, it does not possess the kind of bulk. It's still a lot skinny. A lot of the updated Rexes, they gave them better bulk, but the coloration definitely beats out Mainline. Same with the articulation. The green T-Rex, the Lost World Buck, the head sculpt is a little better than the Hammond collection, but the paint is really sad. It only has 5 stripes. Tail's not painted, legs are not painted, none of the claws are painted. Hammond collection, fully painted, but the sculpt is near identical to the Rexy figure. The first movie T-Rex does not really resemble the bull T-Rex at all. It doesn't have like the dewlap that hangs down, and it's not that bulky, but it's definitely better than what we've got in the Mainline. But at least the head on this one is a lot more recognizable as the buck in comparison. Oh, Brachio. Almost forgot. Oh my god. The Brachiosaurus is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous from the Hammond collection. Really tall, really nice articulation. The colors are spot on. The Mainline one is also really nice, but it just doesn't possess the same softness. A lot of the details are more defined, and the coloration is just like brown with this off-white kind of beige stomach. So Hammond collection Brachie takes the win on this one. So there is my comparison of the Hammond collection versus the Mainline figures. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And real quick, if you check out the link in my bio, I am selling plushie toys. I have my own company now, and I produce Paleozoic critters, and I will be making some dinosaurs really soon. So if that interests you, check out my Etsy and consider supporting our projects. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out my previous videos if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.